Gadzi is a pretty good businessman, wouldn't you agree? He gave us a cause, a reason why we should listen, then basically told us that we were doomed.
That there may be a bigger story that's not being told.
Recently, I started reading the book called 48 Laws of Power. If you have no idea what this book is about, that's fine. You are still being affected by it nonetheless. From your friendly neighborhood mart to big billion-dollar corporations, they all use and implement the rules that have been taught here. This is no wonder that when this book came out, it shook virtually the whole world. Blogs, news articles, YouTube videos, even your own grandma was probably interested in this book. It wasn't like revealing a simple magic trick and finding out the bunny was fake. No, it was more like finding out the whole building was a glorified cardboard cutout. You get what I'm trying to say though. So, back to Iman. He, just like thousands of other big businessmen out there, have consumed this book in its totality. And I'll be going through the rules that he used to make 1 million people depressed and how he benefited from it. We'll start with the first video he released mid-November that started his whole revolution. The video was simple, to the point. He had one motive, and that was to tell you about the inner doings of the government and how the Bank of England basically shanked him. He didn't say everything, but that was enough. It was enough to get you scared, it was enough to get you intimidated, it was enough to get you hooked. And once you felt it, that was it. Next, he would make it seem like you were backed into a corner, and that corner would have a singular string to which you can climb your way out. If not, then he basically wouldn't have anything to gain, and maybe other than some odd revenue, but that probably won't even cover the cost of his plates and spoons. Towards the end of that video, he added a call to action, which was very similar to a marketing strategy. AIDA, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. He is a businessman after all. The goal wasn't to make you see that there is no escape. It was to make you see the slim chance and hold on to it with your entire bank account. Now, if you stuck around this long, you're obviously interested in what rules he used to draw in more than 1 million people. I have selected 10 of these rules that he used to lure in as many as he did. I'll touch on them, but not too much. Number 1. Rule 4. Always say less than necessary. Iman's first video, the prelude to the digital renaissance, was pretty short, wasn't it? I mean, he definitely had a lot to say, but I'm more interested in the length of that video. Think back, how long was it? And well, it has been taken down now, so I can basically only work on my own memory. I think it was about 3.5 minutes. So yeah, pretty freaking short compared to his regular content. He didn't say much, and he didn't have to. And you will see that all the points that I list kind of have something to do with each other. They basically work like a network. Number 2, Rule 6, court attention at all costs. During the first video and series following, he would throw around various keywords such as toxic masculinity, financial freedom, escaping the rat race, and obviously the puppet masters. He also admitted to using push advertisements so that he can get more eyes and clicks on his video, so he can get the word out there, or so he says. Number 3, Rule 11, learn to keep people dependent. When you think of Iman Gadzi, you think of the image of a 17-year-old millionaire who became financially free and dropped out of high school. And he profits off this by selling this story to hundreds of thousands of people, now maybe millions, that come to watch his videos. The dream of being young, financially free, so you can flex on the gram and pull those supermodels that fill your feed, makes your dependency on his content grow because you see that lifestyle in him. During the Renaissance, the major obstacle to a painter's success was to find the right Patreon. Michelangelo did this better than anyone. His patron was Pope Julius II, but he and Michelangelo often had quarrels over the building of the Pope's marble tomb. So guess what Michelangelo did? He packed his bags and left Rome in disgust. Normally, a patron would respond to such disrespect with a prompt dismissal, and he would much rather find another artist and deal with the drama. But to the surprise of the Pope's circle, he didn't do that. He instead sought and begged for his return. Why? Because he knew that Michelangelo could find another patron. But he could not find another Michelangelo. Number 4, Rule 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. Target. Okay, now you're probably thinking, in what way has Iman used this program to take anything from anyone? Giving before you take. It could be anything that you could give, an actual gift, a generous act, a kind favor, or a seemingly honest offer, and you're too blindsided by the character of that goodwill that makes it so much easier for him to just slip a hand into your pockets. You've already given him your time, which has made him some cool ad revenue. You've given him your subscription and made him even more money. No wonder he received more than 300,000 new subscriptions in just 2 weeks. As for his GYA business revenue, well, that's his secret to keep. 5. Rule 13. When asking people for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. Throughout the digital renaissance, he repeatedly mentioned things that would make it seem like he's helping you in some way, and that might actually be true, but ultimately, once you take in the whole course as a whole, and you be like, oh, this guy is trying to sell me something, okay, kind of reduces my expectation on him, but I'll stick around and listen since I stayed for this far. And obviously at the end, it was just a big promotion for his GYA agency finder and Hamza's new productivity classes, which I say, if you can pay for them, all power to you, bro. But if you can't, you were left blue-balled and you had to go and make your money by yourself. Number 6, Rule 27. Play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Iman has used this image that I mentioned of a financially free 17-year-old who retired his mom and is living such a grand lifestyle that there are those who want to hashtag be like Iman, and power naturally brings followers around you, for better or worse. That's why his Instagram stories be popping, bro. 7. Play to people's fantasies. I'm going to relate this back to Iman's persona. It's kind of like how I said they all interconnect. So this is image that he has used to lure in people, and everyone thinks that, oh yes, if I just do what he did, I can become exactly like him. Obviously, in another timeline, maybe Hamza doesn't exist. Maybe someone who tried that probably failed. It's not a direct path to success. So, as painful as it may be, not everyone can be high-paid agency owners, own the biggest house on the block, and buy a custom Bugatti. That is the dream that Iman is selling to well over 500,000 young men. Number 8, Rule 35. Master the art of timing. Iman's course came at the absolute best of times, when the government is becoming more and more untrustworthy and living expenses are through the freaking roof. Men, most especially young men, are being devalued and treated worse, while the media propagates this idea of toxic masculinity and how it's something dangerous, maybe even more dangerous than, somehow obesity. Okay, and credit to him for preparing this course. He has no doubt reached the target audience that he wanted to, and the profit he probably received off of it was probably beyond his estimation, but that just goes to show how good of an eye he has for these things. Number 9, Rule 39. Stir up the waters to catch the fish. This rule is better suited to warfare actually, but of course it isn't against us since we were his target audience. More likely, his hostility was directed at another group of people which he refused to mention and just gave them the ambiguous term of the puppet masters. Those people who watch you from the shadows, make media propagate slanderous things, trying to change the status quo to make it seem like this isn't what it is, while they are just making big bucks. This message of hostility is spread to all of us, maybe trying to change our minds so that we won't just roll over and bark like little dogs for the puppet masters. Whether this is foolish or smart, he's trying to get the puppet masters to make an action, and it's much too early to tell if this is going to lead to a good ending or a bad one. Number 10, rule 43. Work on the minds and hearts of others. Honestly, the way Iman gave off his program promising dreams, riches, and safety of all kinds made him seem like a genuine godsend. All of his advices and the time taken to craft this and review them shows how much he cared and the extent of his thinking. What can I say? He's a good businessman. And even more, he's a great person. He has basically opened the keyholes to thousands of young men's hearts, trying to get them to rise up and stand up. Of course, I said that he gave millions of people depression, and maybe not every one of those decided to build something on it, but depression should only last a moment for you. What you do after is really what matters, and that is basically what he was trying to say. The urgency of his message was well received and very well taken care of by the thousands of hundreds of thousands of young men that have now started to look towards the future and maybe see that it's not so bleak, and maybe that thread that they clung to where puppet masters have pushed them into, it's going to lead them to a life above the clouds, sipping on some martini while watching his stocks rise higher and higher. Cut that last part out. No one needs to hear that.